I titled this Alert the Authorities because I was at the Southwest Plaza Mall a number of years ago, and I've talked about this a few times. Um, and I noticed that the parking garage, the upper level parking garage, had like a rumbling when you walked out on, and I could swear that it was J.C. Penney that used to be over there, and now it's Macy's. But I thought it was J.C. Penney over there. But anyway, that's really beside the point. Um, it's where Macy's is now, and when I was when I noticed it, it was a probably like 2013, and I really don't understand people's response when you talk about something instead of addressing the issue. And thank you, ma'am, for letting us know, because yes, we will look into that. Um, you get this sort of, oh, that's that crazy bitch again. Um, but in 2013 or 14, I can't remember exactly when it was. And I know that that didn't happen like years ago, because I used to live Southwest Plaza Mall many times when I was younger and when my first daughter was younger. And I I sort of took a mental note then, but I didn't like the person of um having any kind of uh say, like anybody paying attention to what I have to offer as far as noticing things or stuff like that. So I've always kind of disregarded, not really disregarded, but like mentioned things to other people, hoping that someone else who I've mentioned to, who seems to have, in according to my observation, more people paying attention to their opinion or what they have to say than I've ever had the uh, respect of receiving. Um, but here it is, 2023, and I went there yesterday evening, and as I walked through, there's a very much of a like heavy, like there's a rumbling, a vibration throughout the entire um mall. And I'm not talking in code, I'm not being um comedic in any manner. um and I mentioned it to the cashier at JC Penney, and then I happened to look up and notice, because then while I was at JC Penney, I was thinking to myself, my gosh, um this place could really use a good dusting. Like, seriously, a good dusting. And I'm looking around, I'm thinking that to myself, because everything looked really neat and orderly, and I was noticing that. But then and I was noticing how very helpful the cashiers were in regard to, like, taking my return and everything. um but I was thinking to myself, gosh, this place really needs a good dusting. I happened to look up over the um, cash cash register stand, and there was like gobs of dust hanging from the ventilation uh, thing, and I just so I called the fire department this morning. I didn't yesterday because I didn't think to. Um, but when I got up this morning, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm concerned because the fires here in Colorado have been a huge concern. It's a huge concern of mine. Um, and so I called the fire department, and he was receptive of my of what I was saying, but he ended it with, I'm sure they have a regular scheduled duct cleaning in the thing, and it's probably not a fire danger at all. So it's still like a lack of respect, like who are you and what is your level of residency in Colorado or here in Littleton, or it's still that sort of hierarchical response, um, which to me is like really self-defeating in to have that tone with a concerned citizen. Because after he said that, I thought to myself, um, well, I'm a pretty clean person, and I don't like being affected by people who don't clean very often. And I'm experiencing this um, sort of uh, response from this guy, like as to guess yet again, like I was overreacting or something. And I don't think so. And he also said that I'm sure there's not a fire danger. And right, but with the things that he was saying to me, I'm thinking to myself, excuse me, but maybe you shouldn't end a concerned citizen's report before going over there yourself, sir. And then he asked me something about something in the bathroom over there. And I thought, um, at the Southwest Plaza Mall. So it just was a really strange, very brief, but strange conversation. Uh, and then right after I hung up the phone, I was looking for further, like, who else can I call? Who else can I call? So I was like looking for the um um like the mall management phone number, and different um different commercial air duct cleaning services in that area. And even that was like kind of difficult to find. And I know that it's Sunday and all, but then I noticed right after I hung up the phone also that there was a fire in a house in Littleton. So for a fire marshal to dismiss in the way that he did, or a fire person, fireman, fire whatever he is, whatever his title is, I simply find it really disturbing. Um, because it to me, I could look at as a very novice, I could look at it and consider immediately the fire danger levels in Colorado, which we've experienced for the past several years, and and the amount of dust that was in and hanging there. And then I'm thinking, and it's also just a regular health department health concern, like for the employees, even aside from it being a fire danger, even if it weren't a fire danger, which I'm pretty sure it is. In consideration and in conjunction with the variable of the level of fire dangers that we've experienced in Colorado for the past few years. And then the health issue of the employees breathing in the dust and the dirt and the dust mites, scabies, and it's a clothing store, and it's very upsetting, very, very upsetting. Um, so I just wanted to get on a forum, and I don't know, wake some citizens up who can help pay attention, and regardless of what the tone of voice of the response of the person who you're notifying, to continue to notice things, because the state and the country is in complete disaster. To me, it is, in comparison to the way things were when I was younger. And so I've, made comments about the governor here, and I've been angry about the governor not paying attention. But now I see very much more clearly what the governor is up against. And I'm probably not who he's up against. He's probably up against the same kind of things and people who have been trying to control things, and they expect us to think that they got this, and they don't, because all I have to do is walk outside my apartment building and see they don't got this. And that whole grin and bear it kind of mentality, that hierarchical people and organizations have instilled in our psyches, it isn't really beneficial to human health issues and existence, and the exorbitant prices, and providing only for some. None of that is very good attendance to the amount of need that there is in our very own country. And there needs to be a refocusing of politics and politicians to be in a more proactive mode, in like a serious manner, because what I saw yesterday, and I know people are thinking, oh gosh, she's overreacting, because that's what I've been told my whole life. I've been called the Chicken Little of the situation, or the whatever. And I look around today, and because I've been labeled that throughout my lifetime since I was a little girl, nothing I say ever matters or ever registers in anybody's mind who I talk to, that uh, maybe you should be paying as much attention as I am, um, to the things I see, instead of heading off to the party. Um, so again, I just wanted to, I don't know, I probably want to apologize to Governor Polis, because I honestly could not imagine until yesterday and this morning of what he's been actually up against. I I've been seeing him as a sort of buffoonish representation of state politics. But now I think I want to change my own opinion of him, and not to swing one way or the other. And I'm not trying to get everybody's opinion. Oh well, you don't know, and da, 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 because that's um, street level politics, and street level gossip that no one is benefiting from, not in the short run or the long run. So I want to work with my state representative and help make our state a good model state, good model for proactivity in the serious and real issues that are more than the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm sorry to bring that up again, but that's a distractionary, and it's not even necessarily African American people who are benefiting from that movement. It's a distractionary movement. And so to like have everyone refocus onto some like real world issues, such as what seems like such a small issue as the air ducts and then the ventilation system needing um, and that possibly the mall might need to come down. Like, if no one assessed the ground solidity, like I seriously think that someone should go over to Southwest Plaza Mall at like a land surveying team. I'm not overreacting. Um, and the air ducts be clean. um, and there needs to be actually a very lot of more non-corrupt land surveying done, not just over by Southwest Plaza Mall, but wherever they're building things. And stop the stop the offs. And I like to use that expression. When I was younger and I heard that expression, from having a full comprehension and of the implication of that practice, and those who have conducted business and politics in that such manner need to stop passing the buck or passing the guilt slip to the next generation. I know I don't want the next generation, because I can't even imagine where things are going to be 40 years from now if unless those older than me, much older, at least a generation, stop trying to interfere with people who, simply because they're guilty and are still trying to sweep everything under this like huge rug, and I'm going to bring up President Trump here, because I feel like he's being used as a huge scapegoat, as a huge I don't endorse his campaign, and I don't I don't support or not support Donald Trump. I just simply, as a person who's been scapegoated for many years of my life and in many situations, in family situations and in jobs that I've had, and a lot of times I didn't realize I was being scapegoated. Until you find yourself and you're like, what the heck happened? Why can't I get a job? And you start asking questions and you start to realize all this stuff. So I would like to see the media back off Donald Trump and give him some room to breathe. I don't know him. I never have met him. I don't know how much of a good old boy network he's part of. I don't know. But the point of the matter is that there is not an innocent adult over the age of, I want to say, as a cutoff point, because I see what's been going on, and I don't like the idea of my children and other mothers and biological fathers. I feel like should feel the same way. Look, don't dump this mess on my children. I know how it feels to have somebody else's huge mess. So I simply would like to see me back off Donald Trump, let him breathe, and realize that Donald Trump isn't the only person within the accusations of what they're all accusing him of. It's like they're trying to make him look like the big, huge pimp of the nation for who knows how long. And there's, as far as I can see, every president that there's ever been in the United States was nothing more than a pimp. And so there needs to be more feet on the ground and more people aware, so that we can attend to other things than litigation and who we can put in litigation for whatever distractionary um, uh, strategy and tactic that people come up with in these cases of opposition, like presidential and governor campaigns and all this other stuff. There's work to be done in the United States, and distracting United States concerned citizens of what we see is not a good idea for the media to be doing. Um, and we should all be working towards, you know, if you got a mess in your backyard, don't dump it on me because you need to save face, and you know that I keep a cleaner home and house and backyard, and have uh, uh, um, it's not beneficial to allow somebody to face by dumping on an innocent person. It's not beneficial, and it's getting less beneficial in the short run and the long run. Right now, I think a lot of people can clearly see, if you have any awareness at all of what's, happening in the United States, that the people who have, run the United States government for so long and been in positions of power to some degree. It's also hierarchical, and the same people have refused to take responsibility for their own messes. And I can clearly see that like I was saying, the benefit is shorter and shorter term. I'm like waiting for someone to realize that it doesn't matter how many rafters you get into, uh, permission to get into somebody's apartment or house behind their back and do all this neuro-linguistic bumping and thumping and subliminal messaging. What matters is that they are not recognizing the damage that they have done in the long term, and the complete mess that everything in the United States has become. And again, even here, I can track back my experiences to what I'm seeing today. I can track it back to my childhood, and culprits being Jean and Charlotte Henderson very clearly, and my younger sister Leah. It's a condition of mind of avoidance of responsibility, and hey, I'm a socialite and I'm more about I just want a job where I can sit back and everybody be and think I'm cute and popular. Um, and run off to lunch with the ladies and stuff like that. It's a huge avoidance of responsibility to a community that they're supposed to be representing within their positions. Um, I just needed to, I don't want to say that magical word. I wanted to go on public forum and say, it would be nice. I would really appreciate some help in waking people up. Dumping on somebody else your guilt or your issues or your uh, neglect of housekeeping or cleanup of your own community or and mentality of, well, my snake can eat your dog, and it's all very counterproductive and avoiding simple things like, you know what, just get the ducks clean, for your employees' sakes and for the sake of the surrounding community. And if the mall needs to come down because the ground isn't stable, or there needs to be some kind, I'm not an expert on building foundation integrity, then it needs to be attended to. It doesn't need to be a pass the buck. I don't like that expression because I understand that expression now on another level. I'm going to sign off, and I just I pray that everybody can start paying more attention to what seems like a small thing, but is really a pretty big thing, a pretty big issue, in consideration. And that's simply one observation. I've had observations within my own personal life, because that's not my personal life. That's even another community that I used to live in. I used to live in that area. I used to go to that mall very frequently. Because I lived over there when my first daughter was young. So I guess it's I feel a personal responsibility to attend to a place where I consider sentimentally valuable to me. And then as soon as I say that, oh, that's Strong Henderson likes that, so we're going to have to ignore that over there. And that's the way I've been treated. So, and the really interesting thing is, it's not my people who live over there now. It's a completely different community. So my concern for a completely different population of people Um, and their neglect of taking care of their own people, it takes me back to like being in jail in 2014 in Bel Air, Maryland, at Hartford Community or Hartford Detention Center in 2014. And I just couldn't believe the the filth, and that there wasn't a daily cleaning uh, of of the jail cells. And I came to a realization after I got out of jail and I looked around in 2015, and I looked around at that community, and that Harford County's never been my favorite. I never really like residing in Harford County. Um, so it's not a community that I have any kind of real sentimental uh, attachment to. But I came to the realization that the people there didn't care enough about themselves to care about the inmates by simply providing daily cleaning of the jail cells because of health issues on right now. And then this new mpox, and it's like all the pimps are standing up and saying, haha, Dawn, we won.